What's up, Bulldogs? In this video, I want to talk about the victim mindset. We're going to drill into this a little bit deeper, and I've heard a lot of things recently that have made me realize that most people don't understand what I'm talking about when I say the victim mindset, and they think it doesn't apply to them when it really does. If you guys are just joining me for the first time, I'm John from BulldogMindset.com. On this channel, I teach you how to be a man. I teach you how to build financial independence, how to get the physique you want, how to get the girls you want, and how to go from the victim mindset to the Bulldog mindset. If you want to join us on this quest, make sure you click that subscribe button. And if you haven't already, take the Bulldog quiz and see what your Bulldog score is. That'll give you a good indication of whether or not you have this victim mindset, as I'm about to talk about in this video. All right, guys, so here's the deal. So there's been a lot of things going on in the last few months, and I would describe a lot of the behavior that I'm seeing from society in general as being victim mindset related. Now, I was listening to some interviews and things like that, and people were talking about the victim mindset. And one thing that really stuck out to me was that someone made a defense of saying that they did not have the victim mindset because they were actually victimized. And I thought that was really important, because what I realized when I heard that was that people don't really understand what the victim mindset is. The fact that you could think that you could be a victim is actually the victim mindset. Now, before you turn off the video, hear me out here, because this is one of the most important things that I believe you can learn in your life. In fact, the reason why I created this channel, the reason why Bulldog Mindset exists, is to defeat the victim mindset and to make people aware of what the victim mindset is, because it's not helpful to you in your life. And I know that a lot of you, maybe you're watching this video and you think, well, you know, I don't have the victim mindset, John. I'm actually a victim. I've been victimized. I've been, let's say, racially profiled, or I've been a victim of racism, or I've been a victim of a crime. Maybe I've been a victim of rape, or maybe I've been a victim of theft, or whatever it is. And what I want to tell you about today is why that thinking, even though it seems right, it seems logical, and it seems to be the case, why it's still the victim mindset. And I'm going to actually go back to a book that I've recommended many times on this channel that I really hope that many of you read. It's called Man's Search for Meaning. It's by Viktor Frankl. I'll put a link in the cards here like I always do. There'll also be a link in the description, so make sure that you check that out. You know, grab the audio version while you're going for a run or you're driving in your car, and listen to this book, and really do, because this book can really change your life. Okay, so I'm going to give you kind of a synopsis of this, and then we're going to drill into the victim mindset. So in this book, Viktor Frankl, he was a Jew that survived the Holocaust. He went to concentration camp, okay, and he saw many of his family, many of his friends, many people he knew get murdered in concentration camps by the Nazis. What he basically says in that book is he says that there's this space between what happens to you and how you react, and that space that most of us don't actually use is how we interpret that situation. And what he decided was that he would not allow himself to be a victim, that they could not take away his ability to interpret the situation, and that they could not take his dignity, that he could not be victimized, that he was the only person who could give up his power and to decide that he's a victim. And I know, you know, when you're hearing me say this, it's not as impactful, but if you read the book, I believe you'll get a good perspective on this. And like I said, this can really change your life. So coming back, you know, full circle here to address this, what I want to talk about today is this false idea that you can be a victim against your will. Right? Because this is what so many people are using in society today to say that they don't have the victim mindset when they do. Because the truth of the matter is that we could all claim to be victims, right? We have all had bad things happen to us, right? The whole idea behind the victim mindset is that you blame your life or your circumstances or something that happened to you on someone else, okay? And while this might seem like a logical thing to do, it's actually incorrect. And it's just the incorrect way of looking at things in life. And the reason for this is because, as Viktor Frankl said, you have this choice of interpreting the situation, right? And if you look at Viktor Frankl, the things that happened to him in the Holocaust, what he went through, they made him the person who he became. And he wrote that book, and he changed millions of people's lives through that book. So that experience, while someone could say that he was a victim, he would never acknowledge it as being a victim. Instead, it actually produced a positive in his life. And I'm not saying that all bad things done to you necessarily will produce a positive in your life, but they can. It's up to you. It's your choice and how you interpret situations in life. And that's really, again, is what the victim mindset is it's choosing to interpret bad things that happen to you that are outside of your control as bad things, as opposed to choosing to interpret them as ways that you can grow and learning experiences and things that will, through adversity, increase your strength and increase your character, right? And that's really what it comes down to. And I think this is so important, right? And the reason why I stress this, the reason why I believe this is so important, is because if you think that if someone does something to you, then you don't have the victim mindset because it's a just reason, right? Something actually did happen to you. Then you're going to be stuck in the victim mindset because you won't be able to get over that, right? Someone who has the victim mindset chooses that interpretation for events, where as someone who has what I would call the Bulldog mindset doesn't allow that. They do not allow, no matter what happens to them in life, to define who they are or to limit them in any way. They don't blame anyone but themselves for their circumstances. They see the things that are happening outside themselves as just events, just circumstances that happen in life, and it's up to them to choose how to deal with those things, right? And this is why it's so important, is because so many people that hold on to this victim mindset, they are unable to get past this because they're using those real legitimate, things that have happened to them. And I don't mean to discredit in any way the hardship that you may have gone through in life. I've gone through plenty of hardship in my life, believe me, okay? Some of it self-inflicted, a lot of it not self-inflicted, right? I was bullied in school as a kid. But if you choose to make your life and your circumstance about what's happened to you, you're going to be trapped in a place where you can't control things and you can't improve yourself. And so, if I had one big goal for the channel, it would be to free you from the victim mindset. We look at this from a very pragmatic viewpoint. And what I would say about that is that even if bad things have happened to you, okay, whining about them, complaining about them, being upset about them, blaming the circumstances for the situation in your life, it may be valid in some ways, that, in the sense to say that these things did happen to you and they were negative and they weren't your fault and someone did do them to you, but it doesn't actually help you. It doesn't actually improve your life in any way. The only way that your life is improved is by you doing things, right? What are the things that you actually have control of, right? I don't have control of the things that happen to me. I don't have control of whether or not someone commits a crime against me or does injustice to me. But what I can control is what I do and what my response is, right? Another way of thinking this is that, you've got some cards that you were dealt. You have to play those cards to the best of your ability, and you can say that my cards are not as good as someone else's cards, and I will agree with you. What I would say about that is that regardless of the hand that you're dealt, it's up to you to take actions to improve that, to do the best that you have with what you have. And I think one of the big problems that we have in society today is the idea that we value success in terms of money, in terms of ability to attract women. We value success in terms of kind of the external things, maybe getting promoted in a job or getting a job or getting an opportunity, instead of valuing success in the terms of who have you become, right? And that's the thing that we have to really emphasize and really make the key in our life, is who are we becoming as men, especially in this world, right? Are we becoming better? Are we becoming stronger? Are we becoming tougher? Okay? Are we becoming wiser? And those are the things that really matter. It doesn't matter necessarily, the things that we can't control. And I'll leave you with one simple story that I like to bring up a lot of times. Take a look at Arnold Schwarzenegger, okay? I don't know if you saw, there's this video clip that happened, I think, about a year ago, where I think Arnold Schwarzenegger was in South Africa at some sporting event or something like that, some competition. And there was this guy that ran up and jump kicked him in the back. Okay, and he hit him completely by surprise from behind. And when you watch this video, you can see the impact of that. That hurt. That fucking hurt. I mean, he got jump kicked right in the back. Don't tell me that he didn't get hurt there. Okay, and then he was later interviewed. He said, what did you think about that guy kicking you in the back? And, what was going through your head at that time? And he was looking for the traditional response of, oh, what an asshole. I can't believe he did that to me. Who would kick an old man? Something like that. But Arnold Schwarzenegger, what he said was, I didn't notice it. Obviously, he noticed it. You could feel the pain that's palpable when he got kicked in the back by surprise, okay? But he didn't allow himself to be a victim. He said that I'm so much better than this that I won't even acknowledge that this guy kicked me in the back. I didn't even notice it at all. Did that happen, right? And that's the response that we should have to anyone trying to make us a victim, right? When we allow someone to make us a victim, we allow them to take our dignity, right? Again, if we go back to Viktor Frankl, he could have allowed the Nazis that were torturing him and abusing him and beating him to make him a victim, but he chose not to. He said, I will not be a victim today. And because of that, he went on to do great things. He wrote the book, and he did not suffer. And the problem is, like, when we allow ourselves to develop a victim mindset, when we allow ourselves to believe that we've been victimized, we take a lot of our freedom and our power away from ourselves, and we end up with this toxic shame. We feel like we are lesser, or that we are defective or abused in some way. But when we reject that and we say, life happens. People do things. It doesn't matter. I'm not a victim. No one can make me a victim. That's when we regain our power. So again, guys, if you haven't already taken the Bulldog quiz to see where your mindset is, I would highly recommend you take that quiz. It will give you a good indication if you have the victim mindset or not, or where you're going in life. So take that quiz. It'll be up here. It'll be in the link below. And let me know, what do you think about this? Honestly, I want to know honestly. If you disagree with me, put a comment below and let me know why you disagree with me, because I want to hear you, because I want to know why people hold on to the victim mindset and why they believe that it is possible to be victimized. I completely do not believe that it's possible unless you allow it yourself. All right, guys, that's all I got for you today. Take care.